Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. I am at home, so I'm in a different location. So if you hear the background noise, please excuse it. Um, but I have had a few thoughts in my mind the last few days, and so I thought it was time to release those thoughts. Right. I do want to say, excuse me. I do want to wish everybody a happy holidays because we're still in our holiday season. A lot has gone on, so I know that there are several families right now that are still in mourning over the loss of their loved ones. So I do send my love and send my heart to you, and I pray for peace during this time. I did want to say that first and foremost before moving on, but I have prayed, I have been meditating, I have been doing my necessary. So I'm just going to jump right on in and just talk about this cleanup. Because as we're getting to the end of this year, um, I know that there are some things that people want to top some loose ends and start anew and start fresh for the new year. And I've seen so many people post about 2023. I need you to give me this, or I need you to give me that. I need you to be this for me. And that's true. We have to set our intentions for the new year. We have to set up those things like this is what I want to experience in the new year, and we have to not only set them but believe that they will happen. Believe that what we want our 2023 to be, we have to realize that we have to set some things in motion. Um, but for the most part, I have my mind has mainly been on cleanup. Um, because so many people think that they just because they do the appearance of things that is all that it takes, and that is not the case. You can appear to be one way, but if that is not your true nature, if that is not your true self, um, it is only a show, and it's not authentic. It's not true, and when things are not authentic and when things are not true, that's when we have the most problems, because when people challenge those things, you're the first to get offended. You're the first to say, oh, the world is out to get me. Oh, woe is me type of deal. And it's like, no, you've shown forth that you're showing forth something that you're not, right? Um, you can't say that you are a David and a Goliath match when you're no David. So when you say that and when you do things like that, people lose all types of respect for you. Um, they see you for your true nature. But if you clean it up properly, if you clean yourself up, if you prepare yourself properly, you don't run into those things because you will lead with the truth. You will know your limitations. You will know um, your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And one thing is, I've noticed a lot of people will say, "Oh, I only listen to this type of music." I'm just gonna call it what it is. Mainly Christian people. A lot of Christian people say, "Oh, I only listen to Christian music, and I don't listen to nothing else." And I read my Bible every day, and I do this every day, and I do that every day, and that is good, right? But if it's not changing you, if it's not changing your character, if people can say that you're still the same person from 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, then baby, you're not cleaning up the real stuff that you need to clean up. You're only coating it with purity and calling it pure, but that's still impure. Um, and I'm using the Christian thing, because that's what I've heard a lot of people in that side of my social circle say, right? But this applies for everybody. If you say you want to do something, you can't cover it up. You have to truly deal with it, right? We talk about that in I was about to say philosophy and psychology a lot. When you're when someone is going through some type of mental health crisis, the best way to deal with it is to actually deal with it face on. You can't push it to the back of your mind and say, "Oh, I've dealt with it." No, you've only pushed it from the left side of the room to the right side of the room. You still have to clean up. You still have to do your due diligence and making sure that you are uh, dealing with that situation so that it doesn't come out in other ways. I look at people who do extremist activities. Um, they're like whatever they do, they have to push it all to the forefront, and this it means that they're still finding themselves. They're still trying to figure out who they are. Um, and it tickles me because I used to get annoyed, but then when I figured out what was happening, I stopped being annoyed and I just started praying for people. Because when they're extremists about everything, um, God, their job, whatever organization they're a part of, their marriage, their family life. It's actually really sad to see people that are so gung ho and extreme that they can't live life. You can joke in these, to put a picture. These are the people that you can't joke with because they take your joke as being serious, and they take their seriousness like to the utmost extreme, um, to the point where you can't have a normal everyday human conversation with them because they some people put it as that holier than thou syndrome. I mean, and that's true. It's like I can't even joke with you because you would take it to the utmost extreme. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm so blessed and highly favored. Oh, God is shining down on me today. I woke up and the Lord was on the first thing on my mind. And, I get all praises to Him. I just asked, how are you doing? I mean, it's good that God is blessed on you and shined on you. I can see that because you're alive and I'm talking to you, right? But your testimony is in how you're doing because I have not seen you in a while. I just wanted to check in today with you. I want to know what kind of mood you're going to be in today, right? Because people have mood swings. And I mean, and I'm not talking about the one that just on the pendulum every second, every minute. No, I don't know what has happened in your life where, like, I know you to be one way. If I know you to be happy, right? I don't know if you lost someone in your family. I don't know if you had some things going on at your home, and what I'm walking into may not be the typical you that I'm used to. So I ask, how are you doing, to find out how I need to interact with you. I didn't need the dramatics. I didn't need the excessiveness. I just want to know, how are you? And why this is important with cleanup is because, again, these things that you don't clean up, these things that you don't face, show up in other areas of your life. And you give people what they didn't ask for. Um, you lash out at people. You do things that where people have to give you the side eye, and people want to refrain from talking to you or being in your space, and it's just something that is unpleasant. If you want people to stop irritating you and stop annoying you, do things differently. You can't solve a problem by just being quiet all the time. You have to face it. You have to tackle it. You have to tell people what's on your mind. People are not mind readers. So if you're someone who would rather not say a thing, then you not saying a thing is you giving the green flag for people to continue to do what they have always done as it pertains to you, as it pertains to being in your space. And no one's going to know that they're doing anything wrong unless you vocalize it. And even if you've told people and they've continued to do it, unless you've had that real heart to heart conversation, hey, I really need to talk to you about this because this thing really annoys me when you do X, Y, and Z. This thing really bothers me. People are going to think that, oh, you're just saying stuff. I know. There's I wish the world was differently, where people believe what you actually say. But I can't even count how many times I've told people things. They didn't believe me. They didn't listen to me. They thought I was just talking out the side of my neck. And then when the time came for the truth to be revealed, everything that I said was true. Everything that I was trying to prevent happened. And so, I've just learned to just let, as they said, the bygones be bygones. And I'll just look. And then there was a point in my life where I did say, I told you so. I was that I told you so person because it's like I told you and you didn't listen to me. So now I just sit and look and go on as if I didn't say anything, as if I didn't give you the warning. Um, when people get high minded, they lose a sense of self and they're grasping for attention. They grasp for things. They said, "Oh, I would never be this person," and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, but but I would never do this. I would never do that. And then for the people on the outside, we're looking at them and we're like, but you're doing exactly what you said you would never do. You're saying the same things that you said you would never say. And it's all because people start lacking things because they didn't take care of something. I don't know what that something is for everybody. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but I do know that it is the reason of lacking something that people start doing things that they said they would never do. And it's not oftentimes a traumatic event. It could just be a moment where someone didn't feel like their full potential self, where someone felt um, sad. Something where I don't even want to quite say jealousy, but jealousy maybe of some things, but it's something of concern. Let me put it that way. It was a serious concern, and so in order for them to cope with that concern or cope with that fear, cope with that agitation, people start to do things that, as they say, don't really serve them. And because of that, their actions start to change gradually, but they start to change. And that is the people that we see. That's the people that irritates us, that gets under our skin, that that people don't want to connect themselves to or affiliate themselves with. So it's time to clean that up. If 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 people, if you notice that people are always backing away from you, if you want for saying, oh, I'm growing, oh, I'm doing this, oh, but I know that such and such was doing this, and I don't have time for that. Why are you? If you have to pinpoint everybody else's faults and nobody asked you about anybody else's faults, then baby, that means that it's something going on with you. That is that is a mirror being reflected onto you. That's something that you need to work on. When there's a constant battle between people, between different people, if you're always in a battle with somebody, think about what's the common denominator, or who is the common denominator in all of those things. What is it about yourself that you need to change? What is it about yourself that you need to take an inventory check on? Because this is inventory season. This is the time when you check to see, what did I do last year that I could have done better? How did I respond to this person when I could have responded to them? I could have responded to them in a different way. What are some things that I need to look at in myself that may need to change? Everybody is supposed to do a self evaluation every year. I don't care who you are. I don't care how powerful you are. I don't care what type of situations you are. I don't care what titles you hold. You're supposed to do inventory every single year. Um, and when you don't, these are the things that happen. Give me just a second. These types of things happen. Things of not just people wanting to separate themselves from you, but people starting to judge you and give you titles that you didn't necessarily earn. They or labels. Let me put it that way. They place a label on you, off of a moment in your life, where and not understanding that that's not the real you, and that happens to a lot of people. Um, and then because think about how many times people will say, "Oh, well, I don't want this person to come around because we know the last time that they came, and the last time that you came could have been 5 and 6 plus years ago, and that's not you anymore." And then somebody has to literally validate that. Oh, no, 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 no. I know what you're saying. I remember when such and such used to do X, Y, and Z. They don't do that no more. They're a completely new person, and they've changed. The way they do things is different. And so, no, they're good. They good. And then when people see that outside of you, they're like, oh my gosh, this person really grown. This person really changed. And it's because they are basing that label off of a moment in time. You don't want to continue to keep having moments and times. Deal with that moment in your life. Grow from it. Get over the hump and show people the real you. Show people your true intentions, and not your intentions that appear to be good. Everybody has good intentions until they don't. Everybody um, can mean well until they don't. It's almost like that busybody that's in your life. Busybodies are good to have around, right? Because they inform you of things that you didn't know that you needed. They help spark new ideas. They tell you about things that I mean, it's imperative information for you to have. But where they get it wrong is that when busybodies think that they're doing good for your life, they can actually be doing a lot more harm than anything. It's that was, well, I was intending on, making you smile. I didn't realize that if I sent you this picture of you and your mom passed away 2 years ago, that this was going to create some kind of disruption in your life. I didn't realize that that was going to be a trigger for you, right? And that's the point. They don't realize it, right? And that's where you don't want to be. So when you clean up your mess, when you clean up your life and you do a self-evaluation, you start to have a clear mind. You start to have clear thinking. Everything about you starts to become clear. It's like that song, I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. I think I use this song often, but I mean, it's true. Once everything is clear, once you've cleaned up everything, everything is renewed. Yes, you can ask God all day long for a renewed mind, but this is how people block him. Oh my gosh. I pray for God for a renewed mind. And you know what? I'm just going to do this fast. And, I'm going to listen to this music and I'm going to pray every day. That's a start. Well, make sure that you're not placing your intentions on top of God's intentions and calling it, oh, this is from God. No, you can't. Um, and you know what? As I was getting prepared for this, I kept thinking about the word mandates, right? People are always placing mandates on people, right? Are those mandates really from God or are they your opinions? And I say that because God can give you a mandate for you to work on you. And then you decide, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to share this with everybody because God wants everybody to do this. No, 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 no. Did he say this is a man? I'm giving you a mandate? Or did he say I'm giving everyone that you're connected to this mandate? Don't be an extremist. Remember, I just talked about being an extremist. No, 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 no. Let's not do that. Because when God gives you a mandate, it is for you to change something about yourself. And you're supposed to be able to show growth from that mandate. You're supposed to be able to show that those things, those worries, those fears that you have no longer control you. That's the purpose of a mandate. I am mandating that you do this because it is to create a change and to establish some things that will happen later down the road. Because if you place a mandate on something or on people and nothing changes but their actions, the heart and the mindset didn't change, then you just made another rule, another restriction for people to follow. And that's what religion does. It restricts people. It's proven. You look at any type of religious anything, and it's full of restrictions. And I always have a problem with that because if God is a God of freedom, why are we restricting people? Yes, I know that there's certain things that should be curved and carved out of people's lives, but man cannot do that. That is something that God has to do. Let God do the carving. Let God do the cleansing. Let God do the motivation and the mandates. What happens is when somebody is speaking, like even if I speak and I say something, and if it hits you to the core, like, oh, I felt that, or I really concentrated on that word, that is the mandate that God wants you to work on for you. That is the mandate that the spiritual world wants you to say, hey, baby, I need you to clean that up. That what you heard, I need you to clean that up so that you can go a lot further in life than where you are now. That's why I always, in some of the past videos, if you've ever heard me pray, let those who this word is intended for, let them get it, let them grasp into it, let them actually do the thing that you would have them to do, because I want people to get what they need, the necessaries, so that once they grab on and get the necessary, that they can actually make changes in their life, whether consciously or subconsciously, because people can subconsciously make changes and not realize it until the end. And then it's like, oh, I was doing this the entire time and didn't know it. Prime example, when I was an undergrad, I was eating a lot of veggies. Now, first of all, I love vegetables. But at one point, I was eating nothing but salads from lunch and dinner. Did not realize that I was giving myself a cleanse. And what happened was one day I decided to eat pizza because I realized I hadn't had pizza in like over a month. And I said, oh, well, let me get pizza. Like my pizza was mushroom and olives. That's all I wanted. Continuing with the veggie thing, right? I ate that pizza and I was like, oh, what is that smell? I could smell it through my skin because I had gone through a cleanse subconsciously, not realizing that that's what I was doing. So, and that's what all I'm saying is that you could be subconsciously doing the things that you needed to do because God has placed it in your mind to do. God has sent you a message and it struck your heart to actually do this cleansing and do this change. And you're going to do it automatically. It's not going to be hard. God's burden is easy. It only becomes hard when you're trying to do something that you're trying to make yourself do something that you're not ready for. That's why they tell people in counseling, in what is it, substance abuse. There we go. Don't come until you're ready, because if you're not really ready to make the change, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna continue to do it. You're gonna fall out, in and out of care, in and out of care, in and out of care, until you exasperated all your resources, and then nobody wants to deal with you because they say, "Look, you've been trying to become sober for X amount of years, and we're tired. We're tired of trying to help you. You, I'm tired of trying to put forth some effort that you're not putting effort into." And then when you look up and you see nobody there, then that's when you want to change, because that's the time that you realize, oh no, I really need to change. That's that string that tugged on your heart. And that's not everybody's story. I'm not going to sit up here and say that that's always the case, but it is some people's stories. They have to have that true wake up call in order to actually wake up and start making changes. But whenever you have that tug to change, you'll change the necessaries. You change what needs to be changed. Your mindset, the way you speak, your interactions with people, whether you run around with the same crowd or not, things will change, because that's how spirit orchestrates things. That's how he's an orchestrator. Just thinking about the whole entire Bible, like spirit orchestrates things and makes people paths cross for a reason. Whether it's to teach them this is what not to do, or this is what exactly I want you to do. But when it comes to mandates, just think about whether or not that mandate is for you or for the people around you. Think about what it's really, the base of this mandate is coming from. Like when we had a masking mandate for COVID-19, it was to protect everybody from getting COVID. And we saw those who did not follow the masking mandate, what happened. We saw what happened. No, there was no, to my knowledge, there was no arrest made for not wearing a mask. However, the exposure to COVID happened. Some people survived. Some people are dealing with long COVID. Some people went to the hospital and have those traumatic memories of being exposed to COVID from not following those masking mandates. And some people mask and still, caught COVID. So, but the people around them didn't do it properly and gave them COVID. So there's repercussions for not cleaning up and doing what you're supposed to do. There are repercussions. And when you don't follow them, that's when you see the most trouble. That's when you see the most turmoil. That's when you see, um, as they say, the most hellacious acts ever in life. So it's time for you to clean up, people. It's time for you to start taking your self inventories. It's time for you to stop playing the victim and seeing how your role and what's happening in your life. Do your inventory now. Do it properly. Do it without distraction. Separate yourself and really take inventory and really start to clean up what needs to be cleaned up. Really start to think about your actions. Really start to think how you lashed out at people. Really start to think about whether or not your your intentions were set good when you sent that message, when you made that phone call, when you sent that email, when you met with someone. Think about those things truly. Why did you really do that? What was your intentions for having those talks and wanting to um, meet with that person? Was it to say that I'm right and you're wrong? You came into the situation wrong. Was it to prove something to someone, to throw on your power? That's the wrong intention. Was it truly to establish some type of understanding or truly get people to change? And the only way you can really get people to change is if you present them with the option. You don't make someone change. That's a personal journey, but you can give them the option to change. And then think about, what are you asking them to change? What are you trying to tell this person that they should change? Is it something that's beyond their control? Is it something that they can control? Because if you're asking someone to change something that's beyond their control, then again, that's a self evaluation for you. Why are you asking this person to change something that you know they can't control? What are you lacking? What areas in your life do you need to show more love to and more attention to? What areas in your life are you lacking? And how do you try to make up for it in other areas? That is the true way of intending things. That is the true form of cleanup. It's understanding what needs to be cleaned up, understanding why you do the things that you do. That's how my mind has operated since I was a kid. My mind wants to understand the why. It's not to just question. No, help me understand why this thing needs to happen the way that you're saying it needs to happen. And if you can't explain that to me and just say just because, then maybe you lost me. Because that means that you want me to do it because that's the way you want me to do it. You're not explaining to me the why and how this why is going to make sense. If it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't get done. It doesn't. It's not a form of rebellion. People would say people are rebellious. No, help me to understand where you're coming from. If you can't help me to understand where you're coming from, then that's a you thing. That means that you just up and decided that, oh, we're gonna paint the walls red and trim, and when the trimming's gonna be in gold and bronze. Why are we doing this? Is that because that's something that you saw? That's something that you personally like? I don't think I need to paint my walls red and have my paint my trimmings in gold and bronze, because that's not what that baby, those are not my colors. These these colors mean nothing to me. But if you try to make me do that, then that's the you thing. You're placing you onto me, and it doesn't fit. My those shoes don't fit me. Again, I'm going back to David and Goliath. Saul's armor did not fit David, and when he wanted him to put them on, David's like, I can't even move in these. These are too big for me. Sir, you a size 42. I'm a 20. Like, it won't work for me the way it works for you. I need me. Let me take this off. Let me go get the instruments that I'm used to working with, those smooth stones out the rivers, and I'm gonna take this sling and I'm gonna do what I need to do. And guess what? He slayed the giant and then used that same sword that the giant had to cut off his head. So when you try to place things on other people that is meant for you, when it's something that you're supposed to clean up and you try to get everybody else to clean up, that means that's the wrong thing. That thing is for you, not for everybody else. It means that there's something that you need to take inventory on and get it right, not everybody else. And what is for everybody else will come to them when it needs to be, because they will know exactly what they need to clean up, what they need to change, how they're supposed to interact with people. And that's all I wanted to share with you all today. You all have a blessed day, blessed rest of your day. You have a blessed evening. And until next time, continue to be blessed, but continue to know what you need to clean up and know when it's time to clean up. Because if it's not the right time and you try to clean up, you're going to be just like that person who's not ready for rehab. You're going to constantly fall back and forth until it's really time for you to change. All right, be blessed.